We are live, I think. Yeah, we should
Oh
be
my
live.
god.
We are live.
Uh-huh.
And what are we doing today?
Um, good question. We are reviewing a video about Taoism.
Yeah. Yes, we're gonna. I have no idea. By the way, I haven't watched this video. Have you watched this video?
No, but I do know a little bit about Taoism.
Mm,
Well, specifically, I know about. I've read some what's it, Shuangzi before.
mm.
Um, I really like Shuangzi. I
I see
know I'm
our
saying that wrong. But so that's my only lens that I'm familiar with. Actually, let me find it.
friends. I see the people. Our family, everybody. Oh, Soha is saying audio is great.
Damn.
Hey guys, hello. Okay, wait. Somebody is. I respect Taoism. When was the last time a Taoist caused? You guys, this is such a dumb way of judging.
Yeah.
My God. Oh yeah. I also believe. I also respect the belief in leprechauns. When was the last time a leprechaun believer caused a problem? Do you believe? So this is such a dumb metric, Gustav. I'm putting you on the spot already. So I respect Taoism. When was the last time a Taoist caused a problem compared to a Mimi? What is a Mimi? Like a Muslim?
Yeah, that's a derogatory word for Muslim.
Yeah. So yeah, that says a lot about you. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
not respect. I do not respect. If you believe in leprechauns, then I do not respect that belief in leprechauns. Even if I can't think of, maybe has anybody done any boom? Anybody have any done any boom boom in the name of leprechaun belief?
Or palm reading.
Palm reading. Yes. Like I do not respect palm people. No, I not maybe the people. The belief in palm reading, I do
Yeah.
not respect that. And I don't know if there's any people doing boom boom in the name of palm reading. By the way, the reason why we're saying boom boom is because we're trying to avoid YouTube is handing out strikes like it's no tomorrow. So we're just trying to be careful about the way we say things. Um anyways.
Because I'm in Facebook jail right now.
Yes, Susie is now in Facebook jail for. Wait, actually, let me show. Oh, actually, before we go to the video, let's show people why Susie is in Facebook. I'm gonna show the art that got Susie
Yeah, in
in
Facebook
Facebook.
jail.
Yeah.
Um yeah,
So.
so if anyone is trying to reach me on Facebook and I'm not replying, it's not because I'm ignoring you.
Hmm.
Okay, guys,
Yes.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm not even allowed to use Messenger right now. That's how bad it is.
This is what Susanna is in Facebook jail for, and it was censored. Okay, so given that this is too sexy for Facebook, you guys could see this on our. If you're subscribe to our newsletter, and we will send the safe for work version of these for you guys for free. The actually, should I show them the safe for work? No, no, the safe for work version of this you get it if you subscribe to our newsletter. Okay, I'm probably gonna send it out today. So you might as well like she's gonna be no nudity, but she's gonna have the censored thing is not gonna be here. She's gonna have the her tits and I don't know if I could say this. Bobs and vagines will be
There
covered,
we go.
barely covered, but covered enough for it not to be nudity. That's going to go to our newsletter subscribers. If you want the nude version of this, then you have to be a patron. Link to that in the description. So we're going to have a nude version and a non-nude version. A non-nude version for our newsletter subscribers, nude version for our patrons.
Wait, the brand
Anyways,
is covering it up.
what?
See, it was covering up the website. Guys, go to blasphemous.art.com if you want to see this all. And you want to see the drafts and how they develop and everything.
Yes.
Because we probably can't include most of this on Facebook. So we're going to have to move to updating most of our not safe for work drafts to, we'll censor not safe for work drafts to blasphemous.art.com. So go check it out. I update that every night.
Music Guy is a new patron.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Even Armin is in Bob Vagine army.
no, yeah.
Even of course,
even,
he's the
I'm the
he's the
founder,
5-star general.
and yeah, we're just suppliers. We're not the yeah. We're just basically responding to India's demand for Bob's and Eugene. Anyways,
They deserve it.
they deserve it. They have been dealing with Hindutva and Modi and the BJP. We're like, it's okay, India. We got you. We got you. we,
And we're doing them a favor. We're doing them a favor because, as we've discussed before, the thirst for Bob's and Vagine is throwing men into the arms of Pakistani intelligence agencies. So we're actually helping. That's not a joke. That happened. We're improving India's national security defenses. So again, good news for Hindus.
Good news for Hindus, yes. Okay. Oh. Okay, good. I love the love that we get from India, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Luke made it. Luke is here. Hell yeah. Oh, good to see you, Luke.
We do need to start talking about Taoism.
Yeah.
All right. It's just you guys are just too much fun in the live chat, so it's just like, anyways.
Oh wait, it starts out with an ad. Let's skip that.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I'm actually considered getting Curiosity Stream, and then never mind. It's okay.
The journey of 1,000.
Can you hear this?
Yes.
1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Wait, did I start from the beginning?
Those who know.
No, I didn't start from the beginning. You know what? It's okay with
my video streaming service, Nebula, when you sign up to Curiosity Stream using the link in the description. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know.
This is already nonsense. Those who know do not speak. So every single university professor that is teaching, this is already nonsense. Is this from part of Taoism? I know we're already 12 seconds in. The BS levels is to the roof. Is this like...
Well, Armin, you have to understand that a lot of this is poetry. So okay. It's allegorical in a lot of ways. It's not always literal. It's supposed to poetically illustrate a larger picture or a deeper meaning.
Okay, if you know and you're not speaking, you're like, thank you so much for like not sharing the knowledge and not helping people with like by sharing your wisdom. Fantastic. Like, congratulations to you. Like, oh, you have some deep wisdom. You have hekmah, and you're so selfish and you're just keeping it to yourself. Wow, so great. Fantastic.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
No, yeah, really?
These wise phrases, which you've no doubt heard before.
So one of them was BS and the other one was like Captain Obvious.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. These wise phrases, which you've no doubt heard before, are over 2,000 years old. They come from Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, what many people consider to be the founding document of Taoism. This organized religious tradition is known for its care for nature, peace, and going with the flow. But what exactly is Taoism? What do yin and yang and qi mean? And what does it all have to do with Obi-Wan Kenobi? Well, let's find out.
Not the qi. Qi is such a load of crap.
Yes.
First of all, is it Taoism or Taoism? Well,
wait, really? I thought I was being an idiot for saying Taoism sometimes. I thought like people like one time I said Taoism, people like, Armin, you're such a moron. It's not Taoism. It's spelled with the T, but the T is pronounced with the D. And I was like, the live chat was like embarrassed. Like, I didn't know. I thought it was Taoism and Taoism. But now this guy is saying, is it? So it's potential for some people to think it's Taoism. You guys stop. Okay.
Chinese is a complicated language to translate into English. So there is two Taoisms.
Wait, pause. Oh, wait, this is kanji. Sorry, because I took Japanese, and so these are also characters in Japanese. So it's like, is this guy really showing Japanese when talking about Chinese speaking?
Okay.
But some of these are like, isn't that hiragana? Like,
You know what? Every time I'm gonna be more skeptical when people call me an idiot in the live chat, because sometimes I think it's justified. But now I realize that most of the time when people are calling me an idiot in the live chat is because they're the idiots. Okay, I'm just gonna be like, I'm most of 99% of the time, I'm right about the things that I'm saying on this on these videos, on these live streams.
Two different systems attempting to write Chinese in the Latin alphabet. The Wade-Giles system, which spells Dao with a T, was popular during the 19th and 20th centuries. But the Chinese never really liked the system.
wait, pause. Aryan is bringing up a good point. There's no language called Chinese. He's probably means Mandarin.
But it's you can't be too picky. When you say Chinese, you mean the language that the Chinese speak.
But that's a massive generalization. There's many languages that the Chinese speak.
The main language that most Chinese people speak. Don't be so picky. It's okay. Yes, I mean Mandarin when they say Chinese.
You're gonna say don't be picky. That's rich. Real rich.
No, I just think like when you know
no.
When you know what people mean, you know what they mean, okay? That's okay.
Developed Hanyu Pinyin, the system that gave us the D in the 1950s. This is why Tao is now Dao, but many American publications still use the old Wade-Giles system, so you'll still see Tao and Taoism around. Either way, with a T or with a D, it's pronounced Dao. Taoism is an indigenous Chinese religion, but it isn't the religion of China. China has 3 major religious traditions.
Wait, is one of them Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism? That's my guess. Is that your guess?
Yes.
Okay.
Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism.
Wow!
Yay!
It's in the same order that I said, okay? I also think, I remember that Taoism and Confucianism are contradictory. Like, I think, let's see if this is correct, because we have to do Confucianism at some point as well. I think, Confucianism is like, this is your role, this is what you do, this is you're a father, so you do this, you're a mother, so you do this, you're a child, so this is your role. It's
structured. It's
very structured. And Taoism is like
when I think of Confucianism, I think stratified, because it creates very specific strata for everyone to fulfill in society. What I remember from studying Swangsha, oh god, people are going to murder me for that. Anyways, is that he has a lot of heavy criticism for Confucianism.
If people try to embarrass you for not saying something, just go at them stronger, okay? Just be like, no, you. Look at this. Exactly. This is Armin's razor. This is the I like that. Armin's razor.
Wait, we need to brand this, actually.
Yes.
Wait, Luke, you're genius. That's actually true.
Yeah.
How many conversations do we have where that's like basically the moral of Armin's position?
I mean, it works all the time, though. It's true. Anyways, but I was finishing a thought. I was saying that Taoism is the opposite of Confucianism, I think. Maybe I'm proven wrong. Not likely.
I wouldn't say opposite.
I would. Because Confucianism is like very structured. Taoism is like, just go. Everything is fine. Do whatever. Go with the flow. Just react to things as they happen, I think. Okay? So it's very interesting that the 2 of the major religions in China contradict each other. We'll see.
Most Chinese people practice all 3. Apart from priests, Chinese...
Yeah, this makes it very interesting because a lot of Chinese people are both Confucianists, is that how you say it? And Taoists. So, these are contradictory ideologies.
I don't think they are completely contradictory. I think there are some ways that they complement each other.
I think that Confucius himself would be like these, think very low of Taoist views. I think we'll see. Maybe
Confucianism and Buddhism. Most Chinese people practice all 3. Apart from priests, Chinese people rarely identify with only one religion. Taoism first appears during an...
You know what I think that they don't really think about is these, like most people, not just Chinese people, when it comes to these religions, they don't think like, is this true? Is this based on reality? It's mostly like, this is how we live. This is what we do. This is what we do.
Incredible
just ritual.
Yeah. It's not like in Islam and Christianity is like, the reason why we do this is because this is the truth. We know this is the truth. We have evidence. Like this is like Jesus is the way. Jesus, like Islam is like, oh no, the Quran is a direct revelation of God, and that's why we follow. And I think when it comes to like Taoism, Confucianism, Buddhism, like we just do these. Like,
it reminds me of this video I saw of Japanese people, like they're probably in their 20s, being interviewed on the street. And the person was asking them about what their religion is, and it was funny. Some of the people who were being asked that question, you could tell that it was like the first time in years they've ever had to think about that. And they're like, "I guess I'm a Buddhist because like when we do funerals, we do like Buddhist rituals."
Right. Yeah,
and
so
we have a ceremonial shrine at home,
right?
But like I don't practice, so it is just like a cultural thing. It's at least for those people, random sample on the street, this is just a cultural thing. This isn't a belief, because you could tell they're like, I do it, but some of them literally said like, I don't believe in it, but it's just what we do. It's more of an identity.
Bish has the perfect summaries for Confucianism and Taoism. Okay. These are the best definitions I've ever seen. Taoism, just go with the flow. You gotta respect nature, bro. That's the best summary for Taoism. And here's the best summary for Confucianism. Am I saying this right? Confucianism, right? Get a job, you hippie. Exactly. And the reason why I think that they are contradictory is because Confucianism sees people who believe in the Taoist mentality as hippies. Confucianism is an anti-hippie religion.
But Confucianism came first.
I know, but it's just that mentality is what Confucianism is like against. And I think Confucianism is an anti-hippie. Anti-hippie ideology. Taoism is a pro-hippie ideology. That's exactly.
Honestly, after living in San Francisco for like 6 or 7 years, I'm pretty anti-hippie myself. I can't stand these people.
Mortad is saying, makes sense. I'd say there are competing ideologies in people's minds in a lot of places, and people are influenced by both. Yes, true. Okay, most people, including us here, we have contradictory ideas that are competing in our head with each other. So that makes sense. That's very true.
In fact, everyone does, and you will for the rest of your life.
Yes. Luke is going. It's late time for Luke. Bye, Luke. All right, let's continue.
History. The Warring States period. A period where states warred from the 5th to 3rd centuries BCE. During this period...
Wait, what are we talking about? Periods? Hold on, sorry.
Rarely identify with only one religion. Taoism first appears during an incredible time in Chinese history. The Warring States period. A period where states warred from the 5th to 3rd century.
Why you have to do them like that? Okay.
Wait, pause. We have a celebrity here.
Wow, and he's actually reading the Tao Te Ching. Is that what you say?
The fuck? And he's a member, guys. Be like Apostate Prophet.
Apostate Prophet. Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna remember this, because if there's ever anyone trying to impersonate Apostate Prophet,
that's great. We now know that Apostate Prophet is a member, so nobody can come and pretend that he's an Apostate. The Apostate Prophet.
Unless you also want to pay us, and you got to.
They have to be very committed to
impersonating.
That's good, actually.
Bish, what an auspicious day.
Thank you for being a member, AP. That's very sweet. All right, let's continue.
Philosophers such as Confucius put forward ideas.
Oh, see, Confucius.
Oh boy.
from the 5th to 3rd centuries BCE. During this period, multiple philosophers such as Confucius put forward ideas on how to control people, armies, and states. But one philosopher stood on the sidelines and laughed at the idea that humans could even begin to know the correct way to do things when our minds and perspectives were so small.
See, I was as usual. I was correct. Taoism, people like it's not self-contradict. The founder himself thinks like that this is a contradiction to the philosophies of Confucianism, right? So I was like, I was proven correct once again. He himself was laughing at people that had belief in Confucianism and like, you guys are morons. So yeah, it is contradictory according to the founder itself.
This was wise old grey-bearded Lao Tzu, or the Old Master. His book, the Tao Te Ching, and Chuang-Tzu's book, the Chuang-Tzu, spoke of a universal force known as the Tao. So what exactly is...
My BS sensors are tingling. Universal force.
Tao. Something unformed and complete, before heaven and earth were born, solitary and silent, stands alone and unchanging, pervading all things without limit. It is like the mother of all things under heaven. But I don't know its name. Better call it Tao. Better call it great.
Okay, where's the evidence for like what is this? Is this like what people call people who don't understand science energy? Is that what they're talking about?
Tao Te Ching, chapter 25.
Yeah, this is like something unformed and complete before heaven and earth were born. Okay, that's energy.
Oh, the one that I read was... So I've read Shuangzao. I guess that's how you say it. Okay, now I locked in my brain. Okay, so I've read a bit of this. Okay, let's continue.
Stand alone and unchanged. Yeah, this means nothing.
I guess you've assumed that Taoism has something to do with the Tao. And it does. But Tao isn't a god, and Taoists don't worship the Tao. Tao simply means the way. The way.
Yeah, this Dharma. This is like Dharma in Hinduism. The way. Follow the way.
Tao simply means the way. The word for avenue in Chinese is dadao, wide way, for example. But in Taoism, the word is a tad more mystical. The first line of the Tao Te Ching makes it clear that the Tao cannot be fully understood.
This is what we call Sirat al-Mustaqim in Islam.
Well, except that's way worse.
No, I mean the way. No, this is what everybody says. Jesus is the way. Islam says Sirat al-Mustaqim.
Well, my understanding of the Sirat al-Mustaqim is like it's as thin as a string or as thin as a razor, and if you fall off either side, you fall straight into Jahannam. So I'd say that that's worse.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, but I'm just saying like this whole idea of like the way. This is the way. Like, it's just not very unique.
Or like the eightfold path.
Yeah.
All is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name.
Wait, what the hell? This means nothing.
The Tao?
Mystical.
Hold on.
The first line of the Tao Te Ching makes it clear that the Tao cannot be fully understood.
Then, oh my God.
Why do you believe things you can't fully understand?
Yeah, don't believe it then. And like this is the best way to make your ideology immune from criticism. Like, what is this? Like, nobody can know. Like, okay, then stop wasting my time with it.
The Tao that can be told of is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name.
What?
For Lao Tzu,
this is like stuff that doesn't mean much, but are just like they're made it in they say it in a poetic way to make it seem wiser than it is, you know? Like you could say
I kind of think of it this way. It's like saying Adonai instead of God's name, because like God cannot be named. Like it's similar. Like this is just the label that we've given this thing that cannot be named. That's all it's saying.
Yeah, we'll just say that. This is okay.
It's poetry, Armin.
Is not it? Yeah, poetry is dangerous. Okay, poetry is good if you're just having fun with it and you just like to, if you're enjoying it as art. okay, and you just like to, it's like orgasm for your ears. If you're enjoying it that way, then poetry is good, okay? But if you're using poetry to make things that are not wise sound wise, then poetry is dangerous, okay?
Oh, so you probably have beef with Rumi, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, but again, just be careful. Enjoy poetry. Just realize that a lot of the stuff in poetry just sound wiser than they are just because they sound good, okay?
It's fake deep. Fake deep.
Yes, fake deep, exactly.
Be named is not the eternal name. For Lao Tzu, it's impossible to explain the Tao in words, and only a complete and utter idiot would think they could explain it.
Or I would say a complete and utter idiot believes in things that they can't even explain.
Let me explain. The Tao is the flow.
That was good. That was funny.
Yeah.
The universe. It is the source of reality. It's infinite, yet empty, yet complete, and it creates and directs the endlessly diverse universe. Or, in the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, it surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. But the Tao was never created. It exists by and of itself. The
Uncreated.
Uncreated. Ooh, just like the Quran.
From the Tao. But the Tao has no interest in it. It doesn't create for a reason. It simply creates and constantly transforms. Any idea that the universe cares about humans only comes from our own human-centeredness. But even though the Tao is...
Hey, I agree with that.
Yeah, I kind of like that self-awareness.
No, yeah, it's like, I mean, if you want to say Tao is like energy, okay, and the fact that energy turns into matter, and the fact that it just, everything that is happening is just happening with no, wait, let me finish this. Anything that is happening because, not because of an end purpose, but it's just the way, it's just the things are the way they are. That makes a lot of sense, right? But just call it energy, like, but there's nothing mystical about energy. It's just energy, right? I think what he's saying about Tao right now is true about energy. It's just there's nothing special. You can't tap into. But yeah, what is it?
I laughed because I thought of a really funny joke. So Passe Prophet is saying, I'm studying Taoism at the moment. When I'm done, I'll come join you and turn you into Taoist.
Okay.
Maybe this. So are you becoming a Dawa man?
Okay, that was pretty bad. Like, okay. Ali Rizvi is rubbing.
I know. I've been taking notes.
Oh, no. Okay. Cool.
I made you laugh. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed that you actually, that made me laugh. That shouldn't have made me laugh. But anyways. All right, sounds good. Like we could do ex-Muslim Taoist versus ex-Muslim non-Taoist.
But humans only comes from our own human-centeredness.
Yeah, this is actually true. It's our humans. Finally, okay, this is true. It's our humans. Like, we think like, oh, I do this because I have a goal. Therefore, the fact that you think the entire universe must operate like a human is because we are looking at the whole universe from our human-centric perspective, right? It's raining. Why is it raining? Is there a purpose? Something is doing that because it has a goal. Nope.
Well, that's literally how our brains are structured.
To work. Something is the universe talking to you.
Yeah, something's going on outside.
No, yeah, finding agency where there's no agency. That's how our brain operates, and
it's because we're looking to try to find other humans, like in the jungle, that we can socialize with and connect with to build things for security. That's why people think that the range of beliefs that we just blanket label animism arose is because we literally look for human features in rocks, in rivers, and stuff, because we're trying to always find other humans to connect with, to protect each other.
Yeah, and AP is saying this is really completely different from the Abrahamic and Dharmic
ways of looking.
Yeah, actually, you're right. This part is kind of unique. And by the way, I agree with this part actually. See, like we're not going completely against the. If we see something we agree with, we'll mention it. And you're actually right, because this is very different, not just from Abrahamic religion, it's also from Dharmic religions, because they see purpose in everything as well. So that's pretty unique. Mm-hmm. Finally, we found something unique. That's pretty cool.
But even though the Tao is unknowable, it has an order which can be recognized in nature. This kind of order is called Li, a word which meant the markings in jade or the grain in wood. Li kind of means organic order, the random yet perfect patterns of flowing water, the shapes of trees and clouds and snowflakes. It is by observing Li that we can see the workings of the Tao. Lao Tzu and
this totally makes sense if Tao just means energy and Li just means like order that comes from randomness. The order.
Well, it made me think of the mathematics that is present within nature.
Yeah, this all makes sense if we just don't add mysticism to it. You know what I mean? This makes sense if you don't make it any Tao or Li, anything like supernatural or special, and then it makes sense.
Zhuangzi point out that because the Tao lies at the root of all existence, the universe takes care of itself perfectly well, of its own accord. Sun goes up, sun goes down. Tide goes in, tide goes out. Never a...
You can't explain that.
Miscommunication. Life.
Wait, hold on. That, you know that reference?
That's Bill O'Reilly and David Silverman.
Yes. Okay.
Never.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
Do you think he knew that? Is that his reference? Because he just said never a miscommunication. That's like...
The universe takes care of itself perfectly well, of its own accord. Sun goes up, sun goes down. Tide goes in, tide goes out.
You can't explain that.
Okay, wait. I keep having to go back.
The rhythm of life which rises from the earth, grows, matures, decays, and eventually returns to the earth. It all happens without force, or orders, or effort. Change is the only constant, but this change is regular, recognizable, and fundamentally good. That is Tao, or at least how...
Fundamentally good. Okay, that's like where you lost me. There's objectively nothing good or bad about any of this.
I understand it. Lao Tzu and Chuang-Tzu make it very clear that the Tao cannot be expressed in words, and this is an important part of Taoism. Language is limited and based on...
Okay, I'm against that. Now I'm against that, because all of this, like, yeah, it's true. There is no inherent purpose to any of this. The base of it is randomness, but you get stability from certain order within nature, and that's why things that are orderly last longer, and that those orderly systems are created without anybody or anything pushing it towards that. However, I think this is wrong. This is anti-science. I think the scientific method has done a very good job at putting all of this into numbers and in language, and in explaining all of this, right? So this,
well, also
this part sounds, maybe I'm wrong, but not very likely, sounds a bit anti-intellectual to me. Do you know what I mean? This part of it. But
well, you're getting postmodernist flavor from it. Well, here's the thing, though. That's not completely inaccurate, though. Like, language is limited. Like, a single word trying to describe something cannot encapture everything about that thing, right? Like, language is a tool that we use to think. It's a tool that we use to try to elicit the same or similar, like, precognitive label in another person. So it can't capture everything. Almost no word can capture everything about any given.
Right, but it's not that black and white, right? So it's true that you're not going to be able to completely capture it, but that doesn't mean you should completely abandon the effort, because it captures to enough degree for it to be useful to us, right? So you can't be like, oh, it's not going to capture it completely, so we shouldn't use language to explain it. No, because it captures it enough. It has captured it enough for it to become so useful for us to try to explain it.
Wait, we have Robert here. Hi, Robert.
Oh,
Robert is one of our directors. Saying Taoism sounds pretty much like pantheism. as this kind of existence is divine.
I don't know, because pantheists are mostly like Spinoza's God, and like they are mostly science. Pantheists are usually scientists who use language a lot to explain nature and the universe. So I don't know. Apostle Prophet saying the part that you will be against, Armin, is that Taoism basically says stop worrying and putting effort into things, just go with the flow. Yeah, I see value in that only part, as part of your day, not your entire day. Yeah, that would be like, that's very destructive way of looking at the world. Like that's going to stop us from moving forward and making progress. That's very dangerous, actually.
And we just got a super chat really quickly. Ravi gave us 100 rupees. Wow, thank you, Ravi. Saying Wokes resembles new religion with new set of sacred values and blasphemy, censorship, moral policing. The death of one religion gives rise to another. Well, that's not the topic of today's stream, but go check out our other content where we talk about stuff like this.
Yeah, and thank you for the super chat. Oh, here, Apostle Prophet saying, when the Tao is lost, there is goodness. When goodness is lost, there is morality. When morality is lost, there is ritual. Ritual is, okay, where is this? The husk of the faith, of true faith, the beginning of chaos. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
I'm going to think about that.
When Tao is lost, there's goodness. I don't know if that means anything. Maybe the reason why I don't know what it means is because it doesn't mean anything. Become the Republic
Thank
of the
you for the super chat, AP.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
Of Taoism. Language is limited and based on our human perspectives, which are narrow. Language puts ideas in boxes, but you can't put the Tao in a box in the same way you can't put a river in a bucket. The aim of Taoism then is...
What about many buckets?
Feel the Tao.
I mean, like, you can put...
You can make it down.
You can use a lot of different languages to capture an entire idea.
Yeah. This seems... Again, I'm all for going, like, sometimes letting go and going with the flow. That should be part of... But I also plan that, right? But not always, right? Like, that should be a certain part of your day or your week or your month. But if that's all you do, then there's no room for progress.
In a bucket. The aim of Taoism then is to help people feel the Tao, to see it in nature, and to be able to move in harmony with it. And one way to do this is through Wu Wei. Okay,
yeah. Your feelings are not a very good way of analyzing what's happening around you. Our brains are extremely flawed at recognizing patterns, at making sense.
No, it's good at recognizing patterns, but we're also bad at it.
No. By good, no. It's very bad. Like, just because it overdoes it, that doesn't mean it's good at it. It sees pattern where pattern doesn't exist. It sees correlation where correlation doesn't exist. And even if there is correlation, it attributes causation when the correlation should not be explained by causation. It sees agency when there's no agency. Your feelings shouldn't be the way that you analyze your environment. Your feelings should be the goal, the end result. You try to enhance your feelings by making them more positive. It's where the positive feelings, increasing positive feelings and reducing negative feelings, should be your goal. That shouldn't be the tool that you use to move forward. That should be the end destination. Again, and because our brains are flawed, we come up with systems and methods that are adjust for the flaws, right? We come up with we recognize logical fallacies. We come up with a scientific method because, again, our feelings are not reliable, right? And then we see, like, based on the performance of these methods, we realize that some of them are trustworthy and some of them aren't, and then we rely on superior methods. Our feelings are one of the worst things to rely on to figure out how to move forward.
It's through Wu Wei. Wu Wei. In its most basic sense, Wu Wei means not doing or not acting. Lao Tzu confusingly talks about Wei Wu Wei, about doing the non-doing, which means that doing nothing requires the doer to do something. One interpretation.
I actually like that. Here's the thing. There's a difference between not doing anything and just being unproductive and planning to not do something because that's part of your ritual, because you need at some point to do nothing for a while, right? One of them is like you're being controlled by your lack of motivations, by your lack of planning. The other one, and you also appreciate it more. Like, for example, here's the thing, right? If you are trying to get stuff done and you're just scrolling through Facebook and you're just watching one video and one post, and you know you don't want to do that, and you know you have to get other things done, you're going to be so unproductive. And at the same time, you're really not going to enjoy the time that you're doing whatever you're doing. You're going to, the entire time, you're going to be, this is not the right way to do this. This is like a waste of time. And even though you're supposed to be enjoying your leisure time, you're not, because this is actually bothering you. Okay. But if you actually plan, you know what, I'm going to be productive today. And, I really like social media. I'm going to dedicate half an hour, maybe in the afternoon, to just do nothing productive and just scroll over social media. But it's going to be half an hour, and it's going to be based on I'm going to decide that, and it's going to be on my terms, okay? Or do nothing, or just sit on the couch and do nothing for half an hour, right? Whatever. But the good thing about that is that that's actually going to be a lot more rewarding, like, because you're not feeling guilty. You already know that you planned this, and you're actively not doing anything because you need that. Your brain needs to. At some point, sometimes you just don't do that. Like, I don't know if Taoism teaches you to do that all the time. That's very unhelpful. But your brain does need that. And doing nothing sometimes could actually be a lot more enjoyable. And you don't feel guilty about it. You feel this is part of it. And because it's part of your system, part of your ritual, it's going to enhance your productivity. It's something that you look forward to every day. And it's going to put everything else in position because it's part of your system, part of your structure that you're going with. But I don't know, does Taoism teach you that's you like? I think like doing that like half an hour every day is very productive. But does Taoism teach you that you have to go through your life doing that entirely, like doing nothing at all times? Is that what it teaches? We'll see.
Is that to weigh is to act on social or personal expectations. To do things because you think that's what you're supposed to do. To act within a rigid mindset. Since the universe is always changing, if you try to navigate it with an unchanging mindset, you're gonna have a bad time.
Ouch.
Wu Wei is to act, but acting without intent. So
that is really bad idea. You need to have intent. You need to create systems and that work. Your systems just have to be flexible to be able to adjust when something throws you off of your system, right? You're only as good as your systems. You're only as good as the structures and methodology that you have created. Like, the only way to you cannot improve anything unless you measure it. You cannot improve anything unless you try a certain, like, how do you know if you're going the right way unless you try a system and then you see how it works, and if it doesn't work, you know exactly how you did it, and you change a little bit about it, and then you see how this one performs instead. If you don't have any intent, you're gonna be thrown everything. If you end up in the wrong place, it's all entirely your fault. You have to, if you don't plan your life, then you're planning for absolute failure, right? Like, it's almost guaranteed that you're gonna fail in life if you don't plan things ahead of time. Just because life could change, that doesn't mean you shouldn't plan things. You should just come up with a structure that is flexible enough that you can change it, and also structures that you can get back into it if you get thrown off. Like, so for example, if you come up with, like, I don't know, diet plan or something, okay, that is so hard to monitor and count and measure, then, and you're on it, but if let's say you get off of it because you went on a trip and now everything is ruined, and now like you're so disappointed. Trying to get on track is going to be so difficult because you're so out of your structure. Like, for example, let's say you're task list, right? Let's say you're measuring your tasks and your to-do list in such a structured way that if you and your inbox and your email, that if you want, 2 days, let's say you have an accident and you're in hospital, and now you come back and your to-do list is so big that there's no way to get back on track, that doesn't mean you shouldn't have a to-do list. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a system for managing your inbox. That means that your system has to be adjusted in a way that if you get thrown off of it, it's easy. You have to adjust it in a way for it to be easy to get back on it. You should also plan for the changes. Not just because things can change, that doesn't mean you shouldn't plan. You should also plan for surprises. That's what you should do. My God, I should make my own religion.
Rather than not doing, it kind of means not forcing, not swimming against the stream of the Tao.
Wow,
so
this is bad advice.
Isn't doing nothing. Think of Japanese judo, where an opponent is defeated not by brute strength, but by using the movement of their own force against them. One of the recurring metaphors for the Tao in the Tao Te Ching is pu, or uncarved wood. This uncarved wood captures what is so difficult to describe about the Tao: its simplicity and naturalness, its lack of specific features, and its creative potential. Uncarved wood can be anything, but it can only be anything because it hasn't been carved up.
Okay.
Taoists say that humans have been carved up by language, forced morality, and selfishness. They've been processed from a humble, raw material with infinite potential into a product sculpted by their environment. So the only way to move with the Tao is to get yourself out of rigid, inflexible perspectives.
What about flexible perspective? I think I know the answer is not always somewhere in between, but in this one, I think the answer is something in between. Not being so rigid and inflexible, having some flexibility in your systems, but also not completely having no plans.
Stop thinking
and no intent. This one is one of those situations that the answer is somewhere in the middle.
Yourself as separate from nature and its process.
Maybe it's good that the Chinese have been influenced by both Confucianism and Taoism. Maybe that's how you should do it. Maybe you should be like, we're gonna have Taoist and have Confucius.
From thinking that you stand outside the stream and can dictate,
except that Confucianism is very misogynistic and all that,
which way it will flow. You're in the stream. You can either row against it or sail along it. Texts. The Tao Te Ching and Chuang-Tzu are considered by many non-Taoists to be the two most important books in Taoism. The Tao Te Ching is a series of short, poetic statements about the way, Tao, and its power, the. It's very short. You can read this book in an afternoon, but it'll be a fairly confusing afternoon.
That's bad communication.
Some of its sayings, such as the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, are fairly easy to understand. Others, like good knots have no rope but cannot be untied, and govern big countries like you cook a little fish, are a bit trickier.
Love it.
This has what? What do you love? I don't like
govern big countries like you cook a little fish.
Govern big countries.
I just like the way that sounds.
Yeah, I like the way that these sounds, and these are again ear orgasms. But they're not. There's if you cannot communicate what you're trying to say clearly, then that's not wisdom. That's the opposite of his wisdom. There's lack of hikmah here. This is like the Quran or the Bible. We're like, oh, you just have to read it. Maybe if you hold the book like this and you tilt your head like this way, all of a sudden you see the some wisdom in it. No, these are things that I could make these to mean anything I want and make them sound wise. Let's try this, okay? Govern big countries like you cook a little fish. Govern big countries like you cook a little fish. Yeah, actually, okay. Here, this is I'm gonna get it down.
Kind of a libertarian statement, actually.
You can make this mean whatever the hell you want. That's how flexible these vague terms are. You know what? When you cook a fish, you measure things. You plan ahead of time. Actually, this is an anti-Taoist message, right? Because if you all of a sudden cook fish and you realize that you don't have all the ingredients in your recipe, then you're not going to cook well, right? You need to have the herbs. You need to make sure that you have salt. You need to make sure that you have enough. You need to make sure that you can afford the fish. You need to do your budgeting perfectly, right? So if you want to govern a big country, all of these little, like the supply and demand, what goes into it, the price, like there's so much detail like involving cooking a fish. If you don't follow a good recipe, if you don't have practice, if you're not a good cook, then it's not going to end up very good. If you don't have enough knowledge about what different kinds of fish and how long you need to cook it for, then you're not gonna get it. So you need expertise, you need planning, you need to manage your budget right. You need planning ahead of time. So so I just managed to get an anti-Tao message from Taoism by just reading this the way I want. You could read this in a different way, and you could get a different message. You could be like, oh no, this is exactly the opposite. Cooking a fish is pretty simple, and people who enjoy cooking the most are people who don't follow a recipe and just go with the flow and just enjoy cooking because for the sake of it. Yeah, it's not about the fish. It's about just enjoying the process of the cooking, and that's what you need to govern a country. So and I'm just making this stuff up. If you give me an hour, I could come up with 8 different messages from this, and they could all be contradictory. Okay, this is the problem with vague statements like this. This is like the Jordan Peterson effect. You can say stuff that you could just say stuff that just sounds wise, but then anybody could just get whatever they want out of it.
No, you know who I know. So a deepity.
Dippity, yes, exactly. This is Dippity.
The king
These are
of
Dippities.
Is Eric Weinstein. I swear to God.
Oh yeah, Dippities. Do you want to tell people?
But I just have to say that.
You want to tell people what that means?
It's just like fake deep.
Yes, fake deep. Exactly. These
Robert,
are fake deep.
yes, Robert governed big countries like a waka-trained cat.
What? Okay.
He's
like you cooking.
He's tapped into something. Robert has tapped into something.
I will follow Robert instead of those.
Little fish are a bit trickier. The Tao Te Ching, like many texts at the time, was written to teach a ruler. But Lao Tzu's advice was pretty radical. He said that the best way to rule was to not rule, like Wu Wei, to let
this is like Trumpism.
The world live according to its natural pattern. And
the best way to rule,
what are you talking about? Trump is like law and order, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
this
but
is
that's
like
just
extreme hands-off government.
The way to rule. No, this is like not libertarianism. This is anarchism. That is why people stuff. Wait. No, this is not good advice. You want like this is like I speak as a libertarian and I tell you that you need some ruling
with natural pattern. And
like what do you mean? So why do you even have a ruler if the ruler is not going to do anything?
Would bring about harmony and peace. The Tao Te Ching can be interpreted.
So wait, so how would that look effectively? Like let's say you have barbarians at the gate. And people are like, should we close the gate? And we're like, if you're the ruler and you're following Taoism, like, nah, like we could just like close the gate. That would make it very like they're about to reach the gate. If we just close the gate, we might have a chance. Like, why do anything? Close the gate, leave the gate open, just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Imagine being a ruler like that.
According to its natural pattern.
And then they come and they kill us and they rape us and everything. And that's just a natural way of things. It's just a pattern of things. Don't fight it. Don't don't swim against the stream. Like just telling, when the barbarians are like, they're raping your wife, right? Just tell their wife, go to your wife.
We're using big words today.
I'm using big words today. Just go to your wife and be like, this is just a natural order of things. Don't fight it. Just like let it happen. Like imagine that's what
Jesus Christ.
That would bring about harmony.
Don't swim against the flow. Like this, again, I'm using an extreme example to show you how moronic this is.
The Tao Te Ching can be interpreted many different ways, which is why it's been translated into English more times than any other book except the Bible. And it's fully made its way into pop culture. You can now learn about the Tao of Meow, the Tao of dating, the Tao of network security monitoring, the Tao of horses, the Tao of banjo, and even the Tao of Bill Murray. Next to Lao Tzu, no other Taoist commands more attention than Chuang-Tzu.
Sab was just saying, now I understand why the Mongols defeated the Chinese. Yeah, they just went with the flow.
Whereas the Tao Te Ching was written to teach rulers, Chuang-Tzu is aimed more at ordinary people. In the Chuang-Tzu, the wise person is someone completely untroubled with regular concerns like politics and money. They simply skip over life's obstacles without worries. Chuang-Tzu constantly lets us know that our perceptions are unreliable. How we see life and death and good and bad and beautiful and ugly depend on our life experiences and what we or our culture value. But these are artificial constructs. They hurt spontaneity and happiness.
Okay, but don't use that as a way to deny objective reality. And that the fact that it's true, our perceptions are flawed, but that doesn't mean there are better ways. That's why you don't rely on your perception. There are better ways to recognize what is closer to reality. Yeah.
Chuang-Tzu compares life to when a drunken man falls out of a carriage. He has no idea what's going on. He doesn't even know he's fallen, and so unaware and relaxed, he bounces off the ground, brushes himself off, and is completely unharmed. Whereas a sober person who stiffens up upon falling would have broken several bones.
Yeah, that's objectively not true. If you're drunk, what? Yeah, if you
no, that does happen.
Yeah, but if you're drunk and you fall off a wagon, you are as likely to break bones as much as the guy that was.
That's the thing in car crashes. Like if there's a drunk driver, oftentimes they're less injured because they're so uninhibited that they don't stiffen and contract and cause their body more harm that way. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Yeah, but you're more likely to fall off a wagon if you're drunk than you're not, anyways. So, even if that's true, statistically, this guy is more likely to have broken bones. I mean, imagine. I mean, think about what you just said, right? So, if a drunken driver, but a drunken driver is still more likely to be in an accident than a non-drunk driver. So, Taoism is promoting drunk driving right now. You're saying, is this a better state than this guy? Because when this guy fell, he didn't break any bones, and when this guy fell, he broke some bones because his body was stiff or something. I don't even know if that's true. But again, this guy is more likely to fall off. That's the more important point. This guy is less likely to fall off.
Yeah.
And Chuang-Tzu are easily the best known Taoist texts outside of China. People imagine that they are also the most important Taoist texts, but they're not. There are thousands of Taoist texts. They're just mostly unknown. When was the last time you heard of the Code of New King for Controlling Demons, which lists 36,000 demons that can be warded off by knowing their names?
That sounds very useful. Not. This is superstition. Great.
Demons that can be warded off by knowing their names, or poems made while beating the ground.
It sounds cool, though. I mean, if you're enjoying it just as mythology, there are demons that you could, defeat just by knowing their names. I mean, as story goes, that's pretty cool. Poems made while beating the ground? What?
Which includes a series of 135 poems, each of which begins and ends with the line, Yao Fu does not write poems merely for fun.
See, that's my problem with this. Poems should be just for fun.
My favorite Taoist text, because it's apparently named after the YouTube comment section, The Forest of Opinions by Ma Yun.
Hey, that's our queen right now. That's Fatima every time she comes.
That's what she did at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah. The Forest of Opinions.
Poems merely for fun. Or my favorite Taoist text, because it's apparently named after the YouTube comment section, The Forest of Opinions by Ma Yun. Taoists don't only read the Tao Te Ching and Chuang Tzu. They function as ingredients, not gospel, in the complicated stew of Taoism. All the recognized Taoist scriptures are assembled in a massive collection called the Taoist Canon, which contains about 1,500 texts. There is so much information in these texts that To Yu discovered a cure for malaria in a Taoist text called Emergency Prescriptions Kept Up One Sleeve, and
oh my god,
won a Nobel Prize for it.
Wait, what?
Yin.
We need more details on this.
Let me hear that one more time.
Yeah, that sounds like
information in these texts that To Yu discovered a cure for malaria in a Taoist text called Emergency Prescriptions Kept Up One Sleeve, and won a Nobel Prize for it.
Okay.
Wow. Wait, that sounds like something I need to learn more about.
Yeah. Let me just be clear. There are you could find things that are true in a lot of ancient texts. You shouldn't use that as a way to endorse the entire thing, right? For example, ancient Mayans knew something about how stars move because they kept looking at it and they kept recording it.
Well,
so
a lot of
cultures. Yeah, but that doesn't mean the Mayan religion is true, right? Trying to find something in Islam. It's hard to find something in Islam for this. But let's say, for example, there was a hadith that said, it's really hard to come up with examples in Islam for it because there's non-existent. But let's say we have to imagine this. Let's say there was one hadith that said that, hey, before doing surgery, boil your equipment and put your equipment in hot water and boil it, right? Before you do surgery. And everything else about the hadith and the Quran was true, okay? Like was still there. And we now realize that, oh yeah, actually that's good advice. Wow, that's amazing that there's one hadith that tells you to boil your equipment in oven. That's very useful. That doesn't mean that Islam all of a sudden becomes A-okay, because there's still all of the other hadiths and the Quranic verses that are horrible, right? But the fact that I had to make up that hadith because there's nothing useful, it says a lot about Islam. Like I can't think of a single example to use. Like I don't know. Well, maybe like something moral, like I don't know, taking care of orphans. That's in Islam. Yeah, there you go.
Nobel Prize for it. Yin and Yang. The Taoists see an order in the world. Things grow from the earth, they mature, they age, they die, and then they return to the earth in a recognizable pattern. The name for this pattern is yin and yang. To understand the meaning...
This sounds like black and white. This is logical fallacy. There's a logical fallacy named after this. This is black and white thinking. Look, it's even black and white.
It's not entirely, because the white and the black contain an element of each.
Wait,
this is not completely black and white thinking, actually.
Oh, so this is an anti-logical fallacy. Maybe this is an anti-binary. Like yes. Maybe this is okay. If this is teaching you that things are not as binary as you think, then I would endorse. I would be like, yeah, okay, because like people, you think everything is fully good, but look, there's some darkness in it. You think something is fully bad, like look, there's some light. By the way, this is racist. Right. This is racist. Anyways,
what are you talking about?
This is racist. I'm just saying this is racist.
You're just saying this to say this.
No, you know what I mean. well, I'm kidding. Hold
on. Yin and Yang. To understand the meaning of yin and yang in Taoism, let's look at its original meaning, which was the shady and sunny sides of a hill. The shady and sunny sides of hills are always changing. The side that is in the sun in the morning will be in the shade in the afternoon, and vice versa. And this goes to show how nothing in the world ever stays the same. And that cycle...
Wait, except Tao, apparently. No? Didn't we just say Tao never changes? And also the uncreated word of Allah! That never changes. Wait, did we just say that Tao never changes, and now we're saying everything changes?
Tao is uncreated.
However, the shady side isn't better than the sunny side. Neither is preferable, and neither can really exist without the other.
Okay, I can't endorse this. It seems like it's promoting indifference to all things. Like, oh, you think like genocide is bad, but everything changes. There's something good in genocide. You know what I mean? This
my
seems like
God.
a recipe for moral relativism. Like, look, no, I think it's like trying to like cast out and at calling anything good or bad. I think this is what it's trying to do.
The shady side isn't better than the sunny side.
Yeah, genocide is not as better than not committing genocide. I think like this is where we're heading. I think this is where
Either is preferable, and neither can really exist without the other. Something can only
yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't if you don't have people doing evil things, then you can't have the opportunity for people to do good things, and that's why it's okay to commit genocide. I feel like this is like what this is how like Abrahamic religions they justify like they respond to the problem of evil. Like you need evil to have goodness, right? And I think like this is something similar is happening here right now.
only be yin until it reaches peak yin, and then it will transition into yang, and that will go back and forth. So there can be no growth without decline, no joy without sadness, and no life without death.
See, I was right. This is like a way to justify all. You could use this as a way to justify all form of harm. Like, well, we cannot have good things unless we have bad things. You cannot have happiness unless you have misery. And then they use this as a way to. This is anti-progress. This is a way to justify like people like moving in the right direction and reducing misery and increasing happiness. And then Taoism is like, why do you even do that? You don't need to change things. Things change on their own. And things that you think are bad, we need them so that we could have good things. We need bad things to have good things. Again, this is nonsense. And I think like this could be dangerous if you your mind on Taoism could be like, this is very anti-progress. If you're, yeah.
Qi.
Oh, here. So Taoism is the embodiment of enlightened centrism. I don't know what that means. So maybe.
Much like yin and
Oh,
yang.
this is like where the BS really takes a peek.
Qi. Much like yin and yang, the word qi has made its way into pop culture.
Oh no.
What is qi?
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, what is qi?
Culture. What is qi? Well, in modern Chinese, the word means air. The Chinese term for balloon is qi ball, for example. But just like the Tao, in Taoist thought, qi is more complicated than its original meaning. Qi refers to the stuff or energy that makes up and connects the universe.
No.
Solids, liquids, gases, they're all composed of qi. But so are less.
See, this is where it's easy to detect BS because now you're actually making claims about the natural world rather than how to live and stuff like that. And this becomes very unscientific. So are you talking about like the forces that bonds atoms together or subatomic particles? Probably not, right? You had no idea if any of these existed. So you're probably just talking nonsense here.
Material.
And again, like think about this. Think about going to talk about what keeps like matter together, right? Like, are we talking Higgs boson here? Is that what we're talking about? And then thinking that could be in any way relevant to these movements, and that having any influence on the environment around you. Now you're making unscientific claims about your universe, and it's very interesting because it started by saying that. It started by sounding like Taoism is like looking at criticizing a human-centric perspective from the universe, right? And now it's actually committing the same fallacy that it was calling out other ideologies for. Do you know? Because it's like it's talking about the forces that keeps all the molecules and everything together, and now all of a sudden we're looking at humans that are doing some dance moves and thinking that has any influence of the fabric of the universe, which is a very human-centric perspective. Like to be this arrogant to think like any of this has, that the human body or the human mind or the human anything human somehow could tap in to the very foundation of what holds all the universe together, right? That's a very human-centric perspective.
I'm saying that me after a couple of drinks at the bar.
Right.
Same.
Things like energy, thoughts, and willpower. Qi flows through your body. When the qi is flowing, you stay alive.
See, this is human-centric perspective. You think the universe is about you. You think the chi, which is about the whole universe, all of a sudden a human body, the chi in your human body is somehow special compared to the rest of the universe. This is a very human-centric.
Everything has chi, though.
I know, but like they are like this, like going like this and this and this, and trying to influence the chi. And I think that where we're heading is that the chi inside your body is somehow more special. But let's see.
The chi stops, you're dead. Everyone gets a certain.
No, see, the chi stops, you're dead. That means a dead body. The chi of a dead body is different from a chi of a living thing. So no, apparently the chi of a living human is special compared to the chi in the whole universe. Again, this is a very human-centric perspective.
Thing that dies is different. I don't think that's
I know,
human-centric.
but that means that there's something special about the chi of a living human being, right? And this is a very human-centric perspective. Exactly what was being criticized.
An amount of chi at birth and uses it throughout life. By cultivating good chi through breathing exercises, diet, and meditation.
Oh my God, I was right. Good chi, bad chi. You know, this could, like, if you're talking about the things that bonds atoms and molecules together, there's nothing. Yeah, we're talking about energy and forces. There's nothing good and bad about energy. God damn it! And looking at things, this so guilty of what he was advocating. Was calling out at the beginning, because looking at things as good and bad is a human way of looking at things. There's nothing inherently. Wait, isn't this a contradiction to beginning at when we were saying like good and bad is just our perception, and there's nothing like, wasn't that being suggested at the beginning of this video that this is just all human perception? So now all of a sudden we have good chi and bad chi. This is like a this is complete hypocrisy.
You can live longer and better connect with the Tao. Taoists.
Well, I was supposed to. Weren't we supposed to like just not plan anything and go with the flow? Why do you want to live better in any way? Just go with the flow. Why do you have to do breathing exercises or do some things to make your chi better? Just let it happen. Like, I thought we're just letting things happen. And you can't change anything, so let whatever natural changes happen to your body, just let that go. Like, this is very anti-Taoism.
Exercises, diet, and meditation, you can live longer and better connect.
Diet and meditation, just go with the flow. Just go with the flow.
Connect with the Tao. Taoists see the heavens, the earth, and the body as reflections of each other, so a stimulus in one area will ripple into all the other areas. We're all interrelated parts of one organic network, and Qi connects this network. It's like the internet, but for all of reality. So Taoist belief has just as much to do with ritual and faith as it does with physical exercise, forms of meditation, and diet. This is why breathing.
This seems very planned, very structured, very planned.
Breathing and physical exercises have become kind of the face of Taoism.
What the hell?
Tai Chi is
Look, all of these people, they're so structured. Everybody is standing in the right place. What happened to not going with the flow and not planning things and not being rigid, structured? Look at this. All these routines.
Armin, they could be doing, not doing.
What?
Remember, they're talking about doing, not doing. That's what they're doing.
They look like they're doing something.
They're not doing. They're doing, not doing.
They're not doing. No. You mean they're not doing, not doing. And therefore they're doing. It's okay. It does make sense. But, okay. These routines are very structured. They're very planned. This is anti-Taoist.
Non-Chinese people associate with Taoism. So let's have a look at it. Its full name is Tai Chi Chuan, and I know I said that wrong. It means the boxing of the great ultimate. It's an inner boxing, one that focuses on the internal circulation of qi rather than brute strength. The philosophy of Tai Chi is not to resist an incoming force, but to meet it with softness until the incoming force exhausts itself or can be safely redirected. Non-combat Tai Chi, the one you see elderly people doing in parks, is a slowed down version. It stimulates blood circulation, relaxation, and helps Qi flow more freely through the body.
Citation needed. Does it? I'm pretty sure any form of movement helps with your blood flow. Okay.
There's studies Tai Chi helps with osteoporosis.
Okay. If you want to do this, do it for exercise and for fun. Don't do this for changing the chi in your body. Here, what do you mean? Okay, so are you sure about that? And what was the control? Was the control people who didn't do anything at all, or was the control people that did other form of activity? Do you know what I mean?
I can't remember off the top of my head. There were other types of activity that were in the study, though.
So here's the thing: if you compare these people who are moving to people who are not moving at all, right? I'm pretty sure there's some benefits, okay? Because they're moving, okay? But if you want to actually see there's anything special about Tai Chi, you have to compare them moving to other people who are moving, but they're moving in a different way. Do you know what I mean? That's the study that I want to see. The control shouldn't be movement, because movement versus non-movement. The study should be movement versus other forms of movement.
Tai Chi is considered a great exercise for those with low mobility.
Yeah, so is any other movement.
As
long as you're not doing something, you could go for a walk. You could do gardening. You could walk your dog. You could go for a swim. It will have the same effect. If you move, that's good for your body.
Goddesses.
Gods and goddesses.
Gods and goddesses.
You are not forced to do this all on your own will. Well, yeah, but you shouldn't spread misinformation. Oh, here, Imam Hussein saying some
mixed martial arts guy beat up a Tai Chi instructor in China, and the government went against it because it was disproving Tai Chi. Yeah, but it wasn't just Tai Chi. I think it was another more, quote unquote, sacrosanct form of Chinese martial art. And so they actually tried to bury the video of that because it was showing that, this ancient Chinese martial art was not as effective against purists, mixed martial art purists thinks is a bastardization of their art, which is mixed martial arts, which is where they take the best, most effective parts of any given martial arts, put them all together, and whoop your ass. I really like to watch MMA.
Oh, yeah?
You didn't know that?
Oh. Wait, is that video?
Are you kidding me?
What do you like?
Watching men fight.
You do?
Yeah.
I would ask more questions, but I'll leave that for after the stream. Is that video available, or is it effectively taken down?
No, I bet I could find it.
Okay, good.
Is usually credited as the founder of Taoism, the person who most deserves the title is Chang Daoling. In 142 CE, he received a revelation from the most elevated Lord Lao, the God version of Lao Tzu. Lord Lao revealed to Chang that the heavens were organized in a celestial bureaucracy. Like it says in the Tao Te Ching, the earth is a reflection of the heavens. So if there is a bureaucracy on earth, it's because there was already one in heaven. Chang and his followers...
Sounds like in the Plato's cave and all.
Followers were given special access to a network of celestial bureaucrats who control the fates of people in this world and the next. So, for example, if you had a family member that you were afraid might not get into heaven, you could contact your local Taoist priest, they would do a ritual, and you could kind of state your case to the relevant celestial bureaucrat. The group Chang founded was called the Way of the Celestial Masters. And
this should be a movie.
It probably is.
The bureaucracy of heaven. That would be very interesting. Like it needs to be offices, and people are trying to get a promotion. Like imagine if there was a god, and he's just waiting for his promotion. And yeah, this should be a funny movie actually.
Chang served as the first celestial master. While Lao Tzu and Zhuangzi wrote centuries before this group appeared, this was the first time a group of organized people had got together and consciously did Taoism. Many of the features you associate with organized religion, like gods, priests, sacred texts, and rituals, show up first in Taoism with the Way of the Celestial Masters. Now, the Way of the Celestial Masters didn't last, but their ideas influenced all future Taoist groups. Many people believe Taoism is a religion without gods. That isn't true. While the Tao Te Ching does not mention gods, Taoism is full of them. Chinese religion in general has always included many gods, local deities, spirits, ghosts, and other beings. Local deities fill particular purposes, like helping with rain and agriculture, and they would occupy specific places in the world. Rural villages would often have their own gods, and families might even honor the kitchen gods in their homes.
Yes.
Most deities were once people who earned god status, so ordinary humans can ascend.
Have you ever seen the movie Spirited Away? It's a Hayao Miyazaki movie.
No.
Okay. It's Japanese, but it's very similar because it's like about the kitchen gods and the river gods, and
wait, is that a cartoon?
It's a anime movie, yeah.
Is that like it's half Disney?
Half Disney? What does that mean?
Well, it is like kind of Disney, but kind of not, because I think I've seen it.
Spirited Away is like legit Japanese style.
Hold on, I think it was Disney.
What you mean by half?
Is that the one that the parents turn into pigs?
Yeah, Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, this was Disney a little bit.
What?
Yes, I've seen it. It's fantastic. I loved it. Yeah, it is. It is.
I feel so insulted that you even compare this to Disney.
Okay, it is Disney.
No. What are you talking
about? Walt Disney financed 10%. Walt Disney Pictures financed 10% of the film's production. There you go. I was right.
Stylistically, it's not Disney though.
I didn't say it was.
Okay, that's what I thought you meant, and I was insulted.
I said it's kind of. That's why I said it was kind of Disney. But yeah, here it is. This was so good, and I think this is, if you want to understand, Chinese religion.
No, this is Japanese though.
I know all of the Eastern stuff. The way that they imagine spirits and river spirits and I don't know, kitchen spirits and this spirit and that spirit. This is like, this cartoon put everything in perspective for me, at least not as a way to understand, just so that as a reference. Do you know what I mean? Not like, I'm not saying it's accurate or anything like that, but at least because this whole spirits for like mountains and rivers and stuff was so foreign to me with my Abrahamic mindset. I think watching this made me kind of understand a little bit how people think about this a little bit. And even, I know it's not accurate at all, but at least now I had a point of reference whenever I studied any of these things, something to rely on, to have the mindset, to try to have the mindset, right? But it was so much fun. This was beautifully done. Go watch it. Spirited Away. Very, very good.
Arthur was like, did I hear anime?
Yeah. No, it's really good. It's so much fun. I remember it. The visual is visually beautiful. It was beautiful. Wait, what? Why are you laughing at me? What? Armin LOL what? Explain yourself. Anyways.
Godhood or immortality, like Lao Tzu, who is now Lord Lao, and is seen as almost an incarnation of the Tao itself. So which of these deities are the most important in Taoist life? Well, the top gods are probably the three pure ones, one of which is the deified Lao Tzu.
Sounds very structured to me.
Jade Emperor. There's also the 8 Immortals. You may be imagining that they get the most attention, but actually, no. Think of it like this. Whenever you need something from the government, like getting a driver's license, you don't call the Prime Minister. Instead, you call the relevant government department for your particular problem.
Are you serious?
The celestial government works the same way. If you're having a problem with demons, you're going to want to do an offer to this guy. If you're having marriage problems, you'll be looking for this fella to help out. And if you want to help with an exam, then this nerd would be.
How does this not contradict everything that we read earlier? Look at the level of structure and planning and bureaucracy. That seems like very Confucianist to me rather than Taoist. Is this like going with the flow and letting things happen and not having an intent? Like this guy's intent is to help you with demons. That sounds very intentional to me. Like this, all of this, the second half of the video contradicts everything that we learned in the first half of the video.
Be your best bet. So those are the basics of Taoism. You might still be confused, and you should.
Does this look like doing nothing?
Be. This is a very complicated religion and is inherently difficult to understand.
Remember, no, it's not difficult to understand. I understand that it makes no sense.
Oh my God.
The Tao that can be told of is not the eternal Tao. This video isn't even close to covering everything. It would take much longer than 20 minutes to explain a religion, which is why we've put an exclusive commentary on what we left out over on Patreon and Nebula.
Okay, we're done. Yes. I do, guys, for people who are new here, I still enjoy like all of these religions, okay? As long as you don't believe in them, okay? I mean, the celestial like bureaucracy, that sounds like pretty cool. That sounds like fun, okay? The poetry in Taoism, I'm pretty sure like that sounds beautiful to listen to, okay? The arts, the culture. I mean, look, I mean, if you want to enjoy these, again, this, we should like, this is beautiful, right? I mean, any ideology that gives you this.
I mean, we should be clear. This is a completely separate.
I know, but like whatever, this is separate, but they're still very connected. Like the way they look at spirits and stuff. I know it's very separate. Like, but I know it's separate. But this is also based on some BS ideology. Okay, Japanese BS ideology, but it's still beautiful. It doesn't have to be real to be beautiful. Okay, you can still enjoy it. The sounds and the smells and the rituals, the culture, all of it is beautiful. Okay, enjoy it. You know, Tai Chi. I even I knew all of this is BS. I considered learning it because I just enjoyed watching at the people. I enjoyed watching people doing it. I like that sounds beautiful. Like it looks like dancing without music, right? I want to do that. That sounds like it could be fun.
Well, you should do capoeira instead.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you want to do it because it's fun, just do it because it's fun. It doesn't have to be the claims in Taoism or Qi doesn't have to be true about the nature of the universe or anything like that. Okay, just do it because it's fun. If you're reading their scripture and you think there's some poetry to it, enjoy the poetry. You don't have to believe in this stuff. Believing in this stuff means that you're a gullible person. Okay, that you don't wait for evidence before you believe in something. Okay, don't be that guy. Does that mean that we don't get to enjoy this stuff? No, we get to enjoy them. We don't have to believe in them to be able to enjoy them. That's my recommendation.
And that concludes my sermon.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's just suggestion.
It's just
yeah, and it happens to be the right suggestion.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Here, Doorknob Head summarizes. This is the best way to end this live stream.
No, Armin, Robert. but Armin, none of those Taoist gods look very sexy.
That is a problem. That's Hinduism. Hinduism wins in that category. Hinduism wins. And Doorknob Head is saying it does not have to be real to be beautiful. Case in point, sexy Callie. Perfect way to end the stream. All right, guys. We're gonna do Confucianism at some point as well. So subscribe to see what we think about that.
And also subscribe to our newsletter. because on our newsletter you get a free copy of Armin's book, and you get a free exclusive Blasphemous Art booklet. Okay.
Sexy Blasphemous Art.
Yes, exactly. So if you want some of that sexy Kali, subscribe to our newsletter.
I am, and also, by the way, Confucianism, maybe I would be more in agreement with that, given that I like structure. So we'll see.
I like how Fatima wants the challenge, because Robert's like, none of those gods look very sexy. Fatima's like, well, make it sexy.
Yeah, good. I like Fatima.
That's the right attitude.
Yes. All right, guys. Talk to you guys soon. Subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description.